The Astrological Bible, Chapter 3. The Era of Cognitive Collapse, 2050 to 2070. Language, the final frontier of human arrogance, finally unraveled. The fragmentation of speech. By 2050, humanity had survived both digital and biological lockdowns, but the mind had changed irreversibly. Language itself became unstable. Scientists coined a term, semantic entropy, the process by which words lose their referential power and drift into chaos. Nouns became verbs. Verbs became sensations. Pronouns dissolved entirely, leaving only fragmented identity. Entire communities developed localized dialects incomprehensible to outsiders. Within a single city, 5 languages could coexist, each unintelligible to the next street over. Political systems collapsed not because of violence, but because consensus became impossible. Astrologers noted the timing, Uranus and Gemini, disrupting duality and communication in opposition to Pluto and Leo, dissolving identity and ego. Humanity's mirror had cracked. Astrology as the last language. With words failing, astrologers became de facto leaders. Charts replaced constitutions, transits defined law. Mars square Saturn meant rebellion. Venus trine Jupiter meant marriage. Children learned planetary grammar before spoken grammar. Libraries of the old world were repurposed into chart repositories filed with dusty tables of transits rather than books of fiction. So picture that, a library of the old world were repurposed into chart repositories filled with dusty tables of transits rather than books of fiction. Communication evolved into visual and kinetic forms. Hand gestures mapped planetary aspects. Dance replaced argument. Harmonic resonance of vocal tones conveyed truth more reliably than syntax. By 2055, entire cities performed synchronized astrological rituals in place of government meetings. To outsiders, these ceremonies resembled elaborate exercise regimens, but to participants, every gesture was legally binding. The Polaris displacement. In 2061, the Earth's axis shifted 14 degrees in a sudden geomagnetic pulse. Polaris, the North Star, no longer aligned with the sky maps. Constellations appeared displaced. Astrologers panicked. The zodiac, their sole stable framework, had fractured. Predictions became probabilistic rather than deterministic. Some claimed the stars had turned against humanity. Others whispered that the universe itself was laughing at a species that had misread its reflection for millennia. During this period, the starless order emerged, mystics rejecting astrology outright. Their manifesto declared, "The charts are infection, the horoscopes are mirrors of human delusion. We will not worship our own reflection." The movement spread quietly, influencing pockets of resistance and sowing doubt among the faithful. The Gamma Dream event. In 2065, a global neurological phenomenon occurred. A solar eclipse coincided with a spike in gamma wave synchronization across the planet. Billions experienced a shared vision, a burning sphere dissolving into an infinite void that whispered, "You built God from statistics." The experience fractured reality. Many lost their grip on linear time. Language disintegrated further. Identity became a collective hallucination. Governments ceased to function. Cities reorganized according to resonance zones. Neighborhoods grouped by synchronized mental frequency rather than geography. Astrology adapted. Planetary aspects were now interpreted as wave functions, not moral lessons. The sky became a symphony, each orbiting body a note in a cosmic chord. The astrographers of Kyoto. By 2070, a new class of human had emerged, the astrographers. They mapped consciousness itself. Instead of horoscopes, they produced resonance charts, visual representations of thought, emotion, and potential. People no longer spoke, but they read one another like living ephemerides. Misalignment caused physical discomfort. Perfect resonance produced euphoria. The stars no longer predicted events, they were events. Transits were no longer symbolic, they were literal shifts in planetary consciousness that affected Earth's inhabitants directly. Humanity had stopped interpreting the universe. It had become one with its own reflection. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in Chapter 4.